And to be very honest with you, we don't even have one method actor in India actually. It's not possible. Everybody has a method of performing a character.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make anyone a method actor. So it's not, I think people are misusing the word. Amir has a great method of creating a character. The language didn't mean anything. Whatever she said, whether it was wrong grammar, wrong Hindi, didn't matter. I had no confidence as an actor. I always thought, oh, I can't act. I don't know what acting is all about.
Even after NSD.
Even after. At times, he actually really, the chappal, he actually hit me a few times.
Oh.
Actually, in that, I say, na, lag raha hai. That was real, actually.
Acha.
Not doing anything. So he said, do you write? I said, well, yeah, I love writing. He said, write. So I ended up with 2 scripts.
Okay.
First chemo had happened that day, and he had this mini fridge. It was packed with food. And he was opening the fridge, and he said to me, "यार इनको लग रहा होगा मैं नाटक कर रहा हूँ, कितना तो खा रहा हूँ मैं यहाँ पे."
Hello Vipin ji,
Hi,
welcome to Screen.
Thank you so much.
So obviously your new project is Maharani, in which you play a politician who's like an arch nemesis to Huma Qureshi's character. But you know, we've seen over the years a lot of actors and a lot of great actors have also played politicians. So when you play a politician on screen, so what is your sense of how you make it unique and how you don't repeat the cliches? What are those cliches? How do you avoid them?
This I've discovered in interviews only. I never thought of this before actually. So my answer to that question is that I don't look at, when I play somebody, I don't look at them from that angle, whether they're a politician or a bank manager or whatever. I don't look at what they do because that's not what interests me. What interests me, who they are as a human being. So as you rightly said, cliche, to avoid a cliche. So I don't play it like that. I don't play it like a politician. You know, I try to make it as human as possible. That's why I think that's how probably you don't fall into the trap of playing a cliche so-called politician or whichever character you play.
Yeah. You call this experience of shooting one of the greatest of your life. So what was so great about it?
A lot of things. I basically, Subhash Bhai was just really phenomenal in order to kind of bring me out of my comfort zone. You know, every actor, we all actors have our tricks of the trade. You know, we use them when we are acting. But this time he kept me on my toes and he never let me drown into my kind of, way of performing. Also, this time I actually went a bit more. I made an effort. I had discovered a book in LA on acting, and I found out the person who had written the book, and he talks about how do you work on your text as an actor. So it's called taking the text off the pages. So Harold Guskin is a very popular name in Hollywood. So when I read his book, I tried to find out what exactly he was talking, because sometimes when you read, you don't understand what exactly he's talking about unless you see a practical aspect of it. So I basically started Googling and YouTube, and I saw some videos, but still I couldn't find anybody who worked with him closely. And then I came across one YouTube video in which there was a name mentioned, Jasper from Copenhagen.
Okay.
And I was like, I started searching him, and then I found out a school that he teaches acting in. And I wrote an email to the principal of the school to connect me with this guy. So I got connected with him. And he is a guy who actually worked with him personally. He went all the way to LA to study what he was talking about. So I took coaching from him. And that I think made a huge difference also.
So can you give us an example of, in terms of the context of the show, how that education really helped you in this?
See, sometimes what happens, we actors, you learn your lines and then it's more of a memorized lines. You just go and then you just say them. But this time I understood that there is another way of looking at the same memorization. It's less of a memorization, more of bringing it out from some place that is really felt very deeply. That was a huge difference actually. I realized. And also I slowed down quite a lot first time. I'm
Okay.
always in a hurry. I'm also like a bit of a rush. I am always like that a little bit. So it also allowed me to slow down a lot while performing.
It's interesting that you talk about your education process because I think years after you went to NSD, you said that you went again to a school
Yeah.
overseas to
Yes.
retrain.
Yes.
So why did you feel the purpose of that to retrain yourself as an
Because you know
actor?
what happens, we get used to a certain kind of, it's like when you learn driving, if you're learning on a shift gear drive, then you initially you are wondering which gear and all that, but after a point you just like very naturally. So acting is same way. When you learn something, then you become so unaware of all the nuances, and you get kind of carried away by one kind of approach to your performance. And I think that's why I think it's very important to in between go back to that raw, go back and become a student again, because becoming a student is not easy after you've done a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's very rewarding actually. If you I wish I could do more such things in the future also, like find new ways to looking at acting.
But what you learned overseas, how was it different from what you learned at NSD? And do you think is there any space that our educational institutes are lacking, whether it's NSD, FTII, that those people have kind of excelled?
Yeah, one major difference is that there is a lot of emphasis on the internal process of an actor while they are performing a character, which we lack. Because our background, our history starts from Parsi theatre, larger than life, a lot of folk forms, melodrama. We come from there, so most of our approach to characters is very external. Like we'll try and learn a lot about mannerisms and how one speaks and how one picks up a watch or a cup of coffee or whatever. The emphasis there is completely different. It's more of your own soul search that becomes part of your character, and I think that's where we are different. And actually now a lot of people, a lot of new actors, they have gone abroad. They study in New York and London, and people are going there, studying, coming back, bringing that here. Like what I studied, I brought it back here. I introduced Meisner, the technique that I learned. I gave demonstrations of it at times, because in India acting more or less is uh, kind of talked in terms of method acting. And to be very honest with you, we don't even have one method actor in India actually. It's not possible. It's not that we don't have capable actors who can do method, but we don't have that process. Method acting is completely something different. It's a different ball game. It takes time. So you can't do method acting in a month. It takes a huge long process. A lot of actors who in the West go 1 year training, and then they go in that process for a year, and then they become that character. And when you see those performances, it just, you're in awe of those works.
But there's a perception that, say, an Amir Khan is a method actor. You work with him in
Yeah,
Taare Zameen
see,
Par.
I don't know people why this is a very wrongly used word. It's not. Everybody has a method of performing a character, so that doesn't make anyone a method actor. So it's not. I think people are misusing the word. Amir has a great method of creating a character. Like I remember a conversation. Somebody was asking me, "What did he do in Lagan?" And he said, "I stood on my both feet." So if you remember the poster also, he said, "I always balance my feet on the ground because it was about finding our own ground, finding our own independence, finding our place. So I stood on my 2 feet." That's a beautiful thing, but it's that cannot be called a method, right? So there is a bit of a kind of confusion about what method exactly is. Andrew Brody, who played that film, who did that film, in which he's a girl and he's going from,
Yeah.
that Oscar, he won an Oscar.
Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah. He took 1 year. 1 year. He studied so much about all that. And then he became. So there are some other great performances. People take years to kind of go through the similar kind of ways, learn, watch interviews, meet people. That's method. Then they become something else.
Like, say, in case of some actors say that they go through a process and they can't come out of it even after the film is done. Say, like, I remember from the top of my mind, Ranveer Singh, when he did Padmavat, and he said that I was so deep into that dark zone that I couldn't really come out of it. What do you call that method acting?
I don't know exactly what he means by that or what happened. The example I have, there's an actor. Unfortunately, I don't remember his name. He played a musician, Hollywood film,
Okay.
Hollywood actor. He played a musician who was an alcoholic actually, and he, in order to play that character, went into the same footsteps. So much so that after the film was finished, he had to go to a rehab. So compare this to something else. There is a misunderstanding of the whole idea of method. Actually, it's impact. I would call that impact of a role. Like Manoj was telling me one day, he did a film in Delhi. I'm forgetting the name of that film.
Gale Guliyan.
Gali Guliyan. He said one day because he was like that, and one day he said, I just walked into some street and I sat down and I was lost. So that's impact. That cannot be called as method. I think what he's talking is the impact of a character. It's more of that than method. I think.
Yeah. Speaking of Manoj, you're also a part of the Family Man, and season 3 is coming up. And it's so interesting that within the same month we see you as a politician and as an aide to a politician. So when you have such, and I got the chance to watch the first episode, and just that room in which there's Seema Biswas, there's you, there's Dilip Tahil, and some other great actors. So when the room is full of such great actors, how do you make your presence felt? Is that a concern कि मैं अपना impact कैसे दिखाऊंगा, or is it just going where the script
Yeah,
is
not
taking?
really, because if you think I'm gonna show my impact, then you're gonna manipulate your performance and you're gonna be the worst. I don't think that. I focus on what's happening first of all, and then what is it that I am doing in what's happening, and stay with other actors, characters.
But it's also a character that you're repeating now. When you repeat a character again and again, what is it about that very small character that you've learned that that for you it might be the protagonist of your own story? So is there a backstory to that character that you've developed? How do you approach that?
I very rarely think about backstory. I'm not a backstory kind of an actor. I basically focus on what's happening, what is it that I'm saying, what's the situation, and what is it that I am feeling at that moment. That's where my focus lies actually. Sometimes it helps, sometimes creating a backstory is a great help also. But I haven't had a chance to kind of, I've vaguely thought about, but not very deeply. I should try it actually. It's a good thing.
Yeah. And can you tell us a little bit about working with Seema Biswas, because she's such a powerhouse of an actor, has been for over 30 years.
Seema is amazing, man. I'll tell you. I've known Seema from my NSD days, and we did a play in NSD together long ago, actually.
Which
Seema
play
is,
was that?
some Brecht play.
Okay.
क्या ये सच बोल रहा है? That was the Hindi name of the play. Seema is such a performer. Like when I was working this is the first time I worked with her actually. After that,
Yeah.
she has a hard time with Hindi at times, right? So on set she was constant, and this time she was shooting night before or a week before somewhere, and she suddenly came to this shoot. So she was she was a bit nervous about dialogues and everything. And I was sitting there, and she would be, trying to say the lines, and she'll forget, and then she'd get frustrated. But when the take happened, my God, she was completely something else. Like the language didn't mean anything. Whatever she said, whether it was wrong grammar or wrong Hindi, didn't matter, because that was the emotions that were attached to came across so beautifully. She's a wonderful actor, actually. See in Jolly,
Yeah.
she has no dialogues, and she lost that whole
Yeah.
segment. Is so powerful, emotionally so disturbing. She's brilliant.
Yeah. Even at the end when she cries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the
With the
portion I'm
goat.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So Seema Biswas obviously is best known for Bandit Queen. We still look back at her with reverence because of that movie. Were you also one of those actors who came to Mumbai at the time of Bandit Queen, because there was that movement? There are a lot of actors like Tigmanshu Dhulia and Manoj Vajpayee also came around at the same time.
I wasn't here.
Okay.
I came for few other things, but not like that. No
Okay. But then I remember that you took like a 10-year gap.
gap. Yeah.
So what were you up to in those 10 years? What was your state of mind?
I basically had no confidence as an actor. I always thought, oh, I can't act. I don't know what acting is all about.
Even after NSD?
Even after NSD, I didn't have that inner, kind of, you get a call from inside. Yes, you're an actor. I was not. So I quit, but I wanted to stay close to filmmaking. So I studied editing. I became a professional editor. I've edited a lot of stuff actually, and I love editing because it's one of the most powerful stages in the filmmaking actually. Because editing is something that you already shot, you can't reshoot, and you can't rewrite. Now what you have, you work with that and create something really amazing. So it's a very important stage in filmmaking.
Then how did the return to acting happen?
I used to talk to Irfan. We were very close, and I used to tell him, I think about acting. I would love to come back. And so he said, "Yeah, cinema badal raha hai, we should try." Makbool I thi. I saw Makbool, and then that kind of inspired me, and I thought I should come back. But Vineet, actor Vineet was very instrumental in one thing. When I told him I want to, मैं फिर से acting करूँगा, he said, अरे भूल जाओ आप actor नहीं रहे हो आप. And I realized he's right. 10-12 साल से acting नहीं की, तो how can I call myself an actor? So I decided I'll go back and study. So I went back and studied that Meisner acting technique that I was telling you about. So I went back to actually studying it, not just going like, okay, I'll do one workshop here or there. No, I properly took a course of 30 weeks. So.
And the film after that was Taare
Taare
Zameen
Zameen,
Par.
yeah.
So when you were doing that film, what do you think shifted within you as an actor that you could realize after that gap and that retraining?
That training was very, very powerful. Meisner, when I studied that, the training is very, very powerful in the sense that it makes you believe in the present. That training, that acting technique is all about being in the present, like being present in the moment that's happening right now. So that was a great lesson for me. And when I learned that, my nervousness, my insecurities about acting just vanished. I just realized, okay, I have to be present and listen to what's happening, and be part of it and be this person that you were asked to become, rather than thinking so many other things.
Yeah, it's very interesting that, I mean, that kind of acting, and then you've also been an editor. Doesn't an editor always think about, oh, how is this going to look in the edit? So how do you switch off that button of an editor while acting?
I don't think about it now.
Okay.
Because it's also been a long while. I have not edited anything. I made a short film which I edited 3-4 years ago. I don't think much about it, but back of the mind, I do know that there will be, if the camera is going there, then it might get picked up from here or something, but not very deliberately, or not very apparent, like not in a very like in a way that it becomes a hindrance.
Conscious.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I read somewhere that you did an audition for Taare Zameen Par, but you without any intention to play that part.
Yeah.
And then Amir really liked the audition. Has he ever told you what he liked about the audition?
No, I never had a chance about talking about that. But I remember Delhi में जब हम लोगों का first screening हुआ था, premiere screening, very first screening in Delhi. When I met him, he said, "You did a fantastic job in my film." That was the compliment I got from him. Other than that, we never chatted about it actually.
But how was he as a director?
Brilliant.
Because he's never directed again, so there are very few people whom I can ask that question.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He was on our side. He used to sometimes jokingly say, "Hey, I am actor. I'm on the actor side." So we felt protected because we knew that he was brilliant. He was very generous, very open-minded. There was nothing. I never felt any pressure. होता ना डायरेक्टर की तरफ से कभी-कभी. I never felt that from him. Actually. It was wonderful to work with him. I wish he directs another film when I get to act with him.
Yeah, but was it tough to go in terms of approach from Amol Gupte to Amir? Because were their approaches similar?
There was very little time actually. Amol had directed just for about week, 10 days, and very few scenes we had done. So there was no comparison there actually.
You said that very recently that if you play that character again, you would play it a little differently.
Yeah.
So how would you play it now?
Well, when I look at that now, I feel I'm a little stiff in that film. Maybe it works for the character because he's a bit of a tough guy that way. But because I have also now experienced so much in between, obviously, if I play it now, there will be something different for sure. And I will try to make him a little more relaxed, not too all the time, you know.
But isn't the extremes that really work for his character?
It works for that film. So that's what I also said somewhere that, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'll end up doing the same thing because the power of that character is in that zone. You can't bring him out anywhere else.
Yeah. In fact, I think it was so powerful that you were offered those kind of roles a lot after that.
After that, yeah.
And even I read somewhere that somebody even thought that it's that
I
your
am like
as
that.
turn as
Yeah. I know. That was a terrible incident.
and that is why they didn't cast you in that role. And another similar incident happened with you, I think, where they just assumed that I think you were auditioning for a role in which your friend dies, and you were very
Oh yeah, I
taken
started
aback.
crying, and
Ah.
there was no script actually. They had asked me to improvise, and I cried, and they thought there was something wrong with me.
But is that the limitation of being a very good actor?
No, not a limitation of very good actor. It's a limitation of people who look at acting in a very weird way. For them, they can't differentiate between the actor, his effort or her efforts, and what that person is trying to give you. They're not there. And also, it's a simple respect. Also, no, I also said in the same way. If they were so worried about me, they should have asked me after that. Are you okay, sir? They should have called me next day, sir. You okay? You need anything? That didn't happen. So that means their agenda was something else. Actually, they were not the right people who actually understand acting or an actor's effort.
Yeah. Um, I think you were also part of the audition process in Taare Zameen Par when the 10 shortlisted kids were there, out of which Darshil Safari was finalized. तो आपको उसमें क्या लगा था दर्शील में ऐसी क्या क्वालिटी थी that he really fit that part?
Oh, I remember when I was reading the lines with him. At one point, he became very emotional.
Okay.
And I became very emotional. So I remember that. And I remember him from that audition. I don't know how their process was picking up, but that day it was very impactful. I just realized, he's brilliant.
Yeah, because now I can't imagine
Anybody else, no. Yeah.
But your co-star from that film, Tiska Chopra, is also turning director now.
Yeah.
She's directing Sali Mohabbat. When you were working together, could you see that those glimpses of a director in her?
No, and we never chatted about it, and she never mentioned. But one thing she used to often talk about that, you know, she would tell me, you know, I want to understand more about how to do this scene, she was very curious about the process. So I guess real extension of that is directing eventually.
Yeah. Anurag Kashyap had, I think, asked you to do a workshop for
Gangs of Wasseypur.
on 10 days or so for Gangs of Wasseypur. From there to now, because I think Huma was also a part of that workshop.
Yeah.
So what changes have you seen in her over these years?
Oh, she's a different person now. She's tremendous changes and wonderful work she's doing, and she's grown into a, you know, from that time when she had just come to now, like there's a huge difference, you know, and her persona is changed, her confidence, and the kind of different variety of roles she's doing is amazing. Actually, her growth is really tremendous. Really tremendous.
I think she has some 3 roles in this month.
Yeah.
Delhi Crime में, Maharani, and another film.
Yeah.
And you've worked a lot with Manoj Bajpayee. So
no, not a lot. Two films, Banda and another film.
Yeah. And even Gangs of Wasseypur, that small.
Were we together in Gangs of Wasseypur? We didn't have a scene together.
You didn't.
No, we didn't.
You were with Pankaj.
Pankaj.
Yeah. But what is your sense of these actors, Manoj ji and Pankaj ji? Do you see that where they come from? Do you see any similarities in how they approach their craft, in their value system, in their sensibilities, and what are the differences?
One common point is theatre. Both come from a solid theatre background, and Manoj I have known for a longest period of time. He's a very hardworking guy, very hardworking. Right from Delhi days, I remember, and that thing he's still doing that. You know, he works really hard. When I went to do this film, Bhaiya Ji, that was the other film.
भैया जी.
I reached late night and I was sleeping in my room, and 6 7 a.m. I hear this noise on the phone. Somebody's walking in the corridor, and I'm like, I walk out. It's Manoj. 6 a.m. He's walking because he had some knee issue and he wanted to solve, like, walk. And that's a sign of a very hardworking actor, and he works very hard, yeah, very hard. I really learn a lot from him when it comes to that, and the way he takes care of himself, his eating habits, all that is very inspiring. Everything is a result of all that, actually.
And obviously your scene with Pankaj ji is still, going
Yeah.
around the rounds
It's the
on YouTube, on
meme,
social media. It's on, across memes. Do you have any memories of doing that scene?
I remember when we did that scene, it was like we were like so out of breath by the end of it. We just and at times he actually really the chappal. He actually hit me a few times.
Oh.
Like it's not him, but in the process, it happens sometimes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Speaking of your NSD,
Actually, in that I say na lag raha hai. That was real actually.
अच्छा. तो इसको आप मेथड एक्टिंग नहीं बोल सकते.
नहीं, it's an after effect. Impact of the chappal.
इम्पैक्ट ऑफ सब. NSD में जो आपके बैचमेट्स थे, क्या आप अभी भी उनसे टच में हैं?
बहुत सारे लोगों से तो नहीं टच में, कुछ 2 3 लोग मिलते रहते हैं.
Yes.
Not everybody. Atul Tiwari is there. See, we were all actually after a point it becomes more of who was there at the same time. So when I was in NSD, it was me, Vineet, Sanjay Mishra, Tingashu Dhulia, Irfan, Piyush Mishra, Seema. We were all around the same time. So and we keep meeting now. Seema and I met. We worked together. Manoj was also there doing theatre in Delhi at that time.
I was interviewing KK Menon a few months ago, and he said that हम में से बहुत सारे एक्टर्स थे जो वो मल्टीप्लेक्स एरा आया, उसके बाद में जब वो जाने लगा थोड़ा, तो हम टिक गए, हमें जो भी रोल्स मिल रहे थे हमने कर लिए. एंड दोज ऑफ अस हु मेड इट टू दोज ऑफ अस स्ट्रक अराउंड मेड इट टू द स्ट्रीमिंग वर्ल्ड. तो आपको भी वो issues आए थे between say like late 2000s to when streaming came around 2010 to 2015 कि बहुत कुछ ज़्यादा अच्छा हो नहीं रहा है अभी, क्योंकि आपने लेट स्टार्ट किया था उनके कंपेयर.
हाँ, मैं काफ़ी लेट उसके बाद में आया. मुझे ऐसा लगा नहीं. हाँ, there was a lull. There was a time period when I was not doing much. There was a time, yeah. And then when all this came, suddenly you started getting calls and started getting work. He's right when he says that, yeah.
But do you feel that you ever felt जैसा आपको पहले लगा था आपके मुंबई 1.0 फेज में कि अब कि नहीं जम नहीं रहा, चलो वापस चले जाएं, ऐसा कभी वापस आपको लगा?
वापस जाना इज द सेम थिंग, फीलिंग कि यार कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, एंड फीलिंग सैड अबाउट इट, फीलिंग काइंड ऑफ नेगेटिव कि यार क्या करें, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. दैट जोन इज बिट ऑफ अ टफ जोन. लगा, मुझे भी लगा.
फिर आप कैसे डील करते?
I wrote during that time. Okay. Sudhir Mishra gave me very right advice at that time. I was chatting with him once, and he said, मैंने बोला, it's frustrating to be sitting home and not doing anything. So he said, do you write? I said, well, yeah, I love writing. He said, write. So I ended up with 2 scripts.
Okay.
So that's how I used that time.
Okay.
Writing, and then I got into yoga during that time, actually. That was another good thing that happened.
So are you working on developing those scripts?
I have one script which is ready. 2 scripts, but one is more readier than the other one because I already have a producer that I'm chatting with.
You will be directing?
I'll be directing and acting in it also.
Okay. Is it tough to direct and act at the same time?
I'll find out.
Okay.
But I'll keep somebody with me who is constantly looking at me very closely. Yeah.
Speaking of Irfan, I've read a lot of times that you said that he comes in your dreams. So what is your most vivid dream that he has been a part of?
Once I dreamt we were eating something.
Okay.
and the taste of what both of us were eating was so delicious. I could not, I still remember, I still have the kind of that memory of that taste. That's one dream that I remember about him.
Yeah, any other that
Other are,
does he say anything in those dreams?
no, I mean, I don't remember exactly, but it's a, most of the dreams that I've had with him are really always great feelings. That I remember. The feeling is always great that he and I together, whatever the dream is. But it was always something very beautiful, something very pleasant.
We are from the same hometown, Jaipur,
Oh, from
Irfan
Jaipur.
and
Oh, you're
me.
from Jaipur. Okay.
So, and I met him only once. So, at that time, also, I think he knew about his disease, and he was going for treatment, but nobody else knew about it. It was that last days, and then he was still very like full of life and upbeat. What is your like enduring memory of him as a friend now? Uh, do you still remember him as that energetic fellow?
Yeah, his sense of humor was crazy. When I saw
Yeah,
him in
so.
London, his first chemo had happened that day, and he had this mini fridge. It was packed with food, and he was opening the fridge, and he said to me, "यार इनको लग रहा होगा मैं नाटक कर रहा हूँ, कितना तो खा रहा हूँ मैं यहाँ पे." His humor was always at his best, and he was still reading at that time. He was reading Rumi, and his conversations. Anup was there, the filmmaker who made Kissa. He was still talking about a lot of spirituality and all those things. He was
So did you, him, and Tigmanshu Dhulia working on Pan Singh Tomar? Did it feel like going back to NSD days?
kind of, yeah. The first day when I reached the set, they were shooting a scene where I sent him the ice cream.
Yeah.
So they were far off, and Tigmanshu was sitting outside the building with the monitor. The shoot was going inside, and I had just come, and I met him, Tishu, and Tigmanshu said, "Arey, ro diya tere liye." So I was like, "What is he talking about?" Then I later realized this was that scene of ice cream when I sent him the ice cream. So, that it's kind of
Yeah.
for us being together after a long time. And
Yeah. So your upcoming projects include Kis Kisko Pyaar
Karoon.
Two. Kis Kisko Pyaar Karoon.
Two.
Yeah. Tongue twister. But how has it been working with Kapil Sharma?
Great, actually, I had a great time.
Yeah.
We really bonded very well, Kapil and I, and now we chat here and there. I hadn't realized that doing comedy sets you free so much. You are not very stressed, and you're not very, other films. It's like the atmosphere is also serious, and you're focusing on your lines so much. Comedy gives you so much freedom. I actually really loved it. I wish could do more actually, and I love doing comedy. मुझे बहुत मजा आता है.
But how do you think he is as a co-star? Because we've usually seen him on stage or on his show. When he's
Great,
himself.
great. Oh, great. It was fun working with him. It was really fun working with him, actually. We had a great time, both of us.
Okay. It's not a comic moment, but one of my most enduring, frames which has you is from Ranjana, where it was a very small part and not too many dialogues. Also, it was a very silent father. But at the end, when Dhanush's character dies, and we see your expression,
Crying,
very
yeah,
eating and also sobbing at the same time. So, can you talk to me a little bit about what was the brief for that? Because we don't see any, father-son scenes as
There's
such.
nothing.
So, what was Anandal Rai's brief to you? How did you approach it?
I was very worried about that scene because, as you said, we had no scene,
Yeah.
father son. There's no bonding scene, nothing. So I thought, what should I do? So I told my makeup man, "भाग जा, मेरे को दिखना मत."
Achha.
I didn't want to use the glycerin. Then I went to Anand सर. मैंने बोला, "आनंद सर, मैं ना बहुत सारी मिर्ची डालूंगा खाने में, तो अपने आप ही आंसू आ जाएंगे." तो he laughed. He said, नहीं होगा, आप करोगे. सर कैसे करूँगा, कुछ है ही नहीं. I can't anchor myself onto anything. Then what happened was something very interesting happened. There was a charpai on which I was eating. So they were doing lighting. तो मैं जाके बैठ के चारपाई पे बैठ गया. And I told Anand sir कि मैं बैठ सकता हूँ यहाँ. तो I sit. So I sat down. And then he came. And I was sitting up, and he sat down and he held my hand. And the way he held my hand, he said something about the scene, the character. But I felt something in his hands. I felt some beautiful softness in his hands. And it just did something to me. So I told him, sir, आप उठना मत जब तक सब ready नहीं हो जाएगा. And so he kept sitting. I sat there holding his hand, and the lighting was done. And then he said, "Ready, sir. I'm ready." And then when camera rolled, I started bawling. I don't know what happened. I think it's his touch that gave me something, and you know.
But yeah, it's so sad that that version, I mean that scene and that part wasn't in the new Ranjana that they've done,
Oh, acha,
redone
I haven't
using
seen
AI,
it. I haven't seen it.
because he doesn't die, he wakes up in that
Oh,
film.
I heard the ending was changed. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
But what is your take on that, as you're also turning a director, you're a creative person?
यार AI का ना मुझे ज़्यादा AI से डर नहीं लगता, पता नहीं क्यों. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm totally talking like an illiterate. But मुझे क्या लगता है, AI का पर्पस कुछ और है. AI is also very dangerous, yeah. I've been reading a lot of stuff that AI could destroy us actually, because the amount of water it needs, amount of resources it needs. There are a lot of things connected to AI, and the misuse of AI could be humongous. मेरे को AI पे डाल के देखो, मेरा आता है PhD किया हुआ मैंने.
अच्छा.
तो किसी ने बोला आपने PhD किया, मैंने कहा नहीं यार, ये AI वाले समझ रहे हैं ऐसा. So there are a lot of danger attached to it actually. As far as film goes, I am not too worried about it, because मैं वो AI की फिल्म देखती समझ में आ जाता है कि AI है, first of all, and it looks amazing actually. The visuals have a certain quality, but again, that is the same quality that you'll see everywhere where there is AI. तो आप बोर हो जाओगे उससे. 3D आया था तो सबको लगता था 3D में ही फिल्में बनेंगी. So I am not. AI is का misuse और use, ये दो टॉपिक हैं. मुझे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री से इतना उसको मुझे मतलब डर नहीं लगता. हाँ, कुछ ये वाली चीज़ें हैं जहाँ आपकी आवाज़ कोई क्लोन कर रहा है और आपका फेस कोई क्लोन मतलब बना रहे हैं उसमें, एंड दे आर यूजिंग इट.
क्योंकि AI के साथ वो नॉलेज नहीं है कि आप व्हाट यू आर अलाउड टू, एथिक्स की नॉलेज नहीं है.
या
जैसे FTI ने एक कोर्स चंडीगढ़ में लॉन्च किया ऑन AI इन फिल्म मेकिंग, जिसमें बहुत बवाल हो रहा था कि ऐसा क्यों है. तो आपके हिसाब से वो ठीक है, और अगर वो AI पढ़ा रहे तो क्या उनको एथिक्स भी साथ में पढ़ानी चाहिए?
it'll be good if when you're teaching AI, you should also teach the dangers of it and how destructive it could be. Absolutely, very important.
Yeah.
Should be.
I think the really next exciting filmmaker will be you. So looking forward to your directorial.
Thank you so much. I also really hope I get to make my film next year, because I'm.
And whatever you do as an actor, we always look forward to that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.